All right, what's good, boys? Welcome to today's trade recap. Today is December 9th, 2025. I ended up making about $3,000 today, which isn't that much per account. It's about $200 per account. I took 4 trades today. Yes, 4 trades. Typically, I limit myself to 2. However, I liked every single setup I seen. My emotions were intact. I liked the draws. I had valid reasons to enter this. So don't say I overtraded. Don't say I was gambling, because I wasn't. I'm going to explain to you everything in depth why I took these trades. And yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. So coming into this morning, I told Discord I was bearish until previous day low got hit, and that's exactly what happened. We swept out previous day low, and look what we did. We ended up rallying from there all the way back up towards Asia highs. So correct bias coming into this morning. Shout out me. But yeah, we ended up creating. I'll go over the first trade. We ended up creating a SMT with previous day low. We had an SMT with these hourly intermediate lows as well right here. Here's a big ass hourly gap. Hourly intermediate lows as well. And then we also had an SMT with these market open lows. Now, I was not worried about this 1 hour inversion back to the downside, because like I said, I was only bearish until previous day low got hit. So that being said, I was now looking for longs. And why was I leaning more bullish? Well, not only did we leave these relatively equal highs on NASDAQ as a WW target, and they were equal on ES, but we also had all this low resistance liquidity all the way built up with Asia and London still intact. We did have an SMT with Asia, but it was during CHOP, during London session, so I wasn't really counting that. I didn't really give a fuck about that. So we ended up coming down, sweeping out previous day low. We had this hourly intermediate low, and then we had an SMT with these market open lows as well. We ended up getting a 2-minute inversion. I went ahead and entered off the IFEG. Beautiful setup, the most S tier setup you can ever fucking ask for. And yeah, you should have took this trade. Most of you guys, it was probably a win. The other half of you guys, it was probably a break even, like it was for me. My break even point was this internal high. Now, if I went in with micros, if I went in with 10 micros, I would have did 5 right here and then 5 all the way up here. However, that just wasn't the case. I went in with 1 mini, so I just went break even. And I was targeting this high right here. I didn't necessarily need to see it go all the way up here. I was perfectly fine with just taking out all this LR. And I probably would have just trailed aggressively after these set of highs got took. But that wasn't the case. We got the 2-minute inversion. Beautiful fucking setup. As you can see, we hit my break even point, and then we ended up getting stopped out at break even. So that was a long, okay? I took, like I said, I took 2 longs today and 2 shorts. I kept flipping my bias, but only for the draw and liquidity. My overall bias still on the day after we took out previous day low was still bullish because of all this LR above and our session highs, okay? So we ended up having news at 10 o'clock. So let's fast forward to 10 o'clock. Here is our news candle right here. Okay, so we had data lows right here, and this was a break-even trade. Not only do we have data lows, but we had all this LR intact. We had accumulation, and then we had London SMT at this point. So we had a London SMT. ES came and took out London highs, as you can see right here, and then we got a resweep of the market open highs. Okay, so each asset came and reswept the market open highs. Perfect, exactly what I want to see. We also have AMD, and then we get a clean 1-minute inversion. If I am going to just take an inversion off a V-shape, if it is a clean V-shape, I will take it. Otherwise, if it takes a million candles to inverse, I'll wait for another resweep. But in this case, we got a clean V-shape just like we did down here. I went ahead and entered, and my target was data lows. I would have trailed aggressively after data lows got hit, and then ultimately just this LR right here. However, as you can see, ES took data, so I then moved my stops to break even right here, which is kind of a shitty break even point, but it was valid in this sense. Okay, so both of these trades were break even. I ended up getting stopped out at break even right here, and yeah, we ended up just chopping around at this point. So now I was like, okay, we have an accumulation zone. We still have this London SMT intact. I want to see a resweep of these highs right here, and then we can go ahead and target these data lows down here. Now this trade ended up failing, and I'll get into why. Plus we had all this LR, so I was very, very convicted that we were at least going to go down to data lows, and I missed something, and I'll go over that in a second. I did not like this inversion. I was waiting for a resweep of this high. I needed a resweep of this high before I entered. This inversion did not matter to me. Okay, so we ended up getting a resweep. Boom. So we still have this London SMT intact. Now we have a internal SMT. We have an internal SMT, okay? What did ES come into? I missed this. ES ended up coming down into this 30-minute fair value gap right here. Okay, so that is what ended up fucking me. Watch, let's let it play out. So I should have went break even right here. I should have went break even. I didn't. And again, it would have been a terrible break even. My break even would have been right here, but I would have had 3 break evens on the day. It is what it is. Overall, it is what it is. I ended up getting stopped out. Okay, my stop loss was above this 1 minute for value gap. If I wanted to see price truly be bearish, I would want to see these 1 minute gaps get respected. Now, I was too busy on ES looking at this 15 minute. I wanted to see this 15 minute get hit. I forgot about the entire 30-minute fucking time frame. So therefore, it was my own technical analysis fault. It is what it is. I ended up taking one last trade today. And it was immediately after I got stopped out. We got this 2 minute inversion. Now we have an S&T with all of these lows. Okay. We get a clean 2 minute inversion. We have clear targets above. Now, like I said, I was already bullish on the day. I was only bearish because of data lows. But now, since we're rejecting that area and we have a valid reason of rejection, ES hit the 30 minute and we have an S&T with all those lows down there. One second. I was fine with taking longs because overall I was bullish on the day. So again, we have an S&T with everything right here. We have an S&T with data. Let me just make it like this. This was from the last trade. This no longer matters. We get a 2 minute inversion right here. Let me just delete this so you can see. We get a 2 minute inversion. Go ahead and enter off the inversion. Stops right here. I love when we get an inversion and then we get another fair value gap or BPR protecting us. They play out a lot more often. Okay. We ended up getting that. My TP was set towards London and Asia. And as you can see here, let's watch this play out. Kind of chopped around a little bit. We retraced back into like a 5 minute fair value gap. And then I believe we ended up taking, London right here. So I actually didn't close at London because my final TP was Asia. And like I said, I only go in with one mini. So I can't take partials. It's so fucking irritating. So with that being said, I was trailing stops. And I ended up getting stopped out about like right here. And yeah, that ended up securing me $200 per account on the day, and those were my 4 trades today. So like I said, I took 2 longs, 2 shorts. I kept flipping my bias, but not my overall bias. My overall bias was bullish once previous day low got hit, and like I said, I was taking shorts because we had clear targets lower. We had not only data lows right here, and then the second one we had all this LR and data lows still intact. And then I was building conviction by having a London SMT, internal SMTs, whatever the case may be. All right, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I know today was kind of a little tricky. This first trade right here was the most beautiful setup I've seen in months. But yeah. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments. Want to up your allocation, use code LoeGpa. The link is in the description. Free Discord is in the description as well. Go check that out, and I'll catch you boys in the next one.